What if I told you that the biggest lie you've ever believed was your own name, not your actual name, the name you've been giving yourself for years? I'm lazy. 3 words. 3 words that have quietly shaped every decision you've made, every time you didn't study, every workout you skipped, every project you abandoned, every dream you postponed. You didn't just fail the task, you reinforced an identity. I'm just a lazy person. But what if that's not true? What if you've spent your entire life solving the wrong problem? Because here's something strange. No one calls a child lazy when they're building a Lego set for 5 hours. Nobody calls someone lazy after they binge watch an entire TV series in one night. Nobody is lazy when they're doing something that feels meaningful. So maybe laziness isn't the problem? Maybe you've been misidentified. Think back to yesterday. You probably had a plan. I'm going to wake up early. I'm finally going to study. I'm going to stop scrolling. For a few hours. You believed it. Then something happened. You opened your phone, checked one notification, watched one short video. 5 minutes became 30. 30 became 2 hours. Suddenly it was evening, and the only thing that grew was your guilt. So you looked in the mirror and said, I have no discipline. I'm lazy. Why can't I be like everyone else? But here's the question almost nobody asks. Who taught you to describe yourself that way? Because no one is born believing they're lazy. Someone or something gave you that identity. And once you accept an identity, your brain starts protecting it. Psychologists have known for decades that humans naturally seek consistency between what they believe about themselves and how they behave. If you repeatedly tell yourself, I'm terrible at staying consistent, your brain doesn't hear a complaint, it hears an instruction. It quietly begins looking for evidence to prove that statement true. You procrastinate once. See, I knew it. You miss one workout. This is exactly who I am. One mistake becomes a personality. One bad day becomes an identity. And identities are far harder to change than habits. Because habits ask, what should I do? Identity asks, who am I? And that changes everything. Imagine an actor. When filming starts, they don't become themselves. They become the character. They walk differently, speak differently, even think differently. Not because they forgot who they are, but because they accepted a different identity. Now here's the unsettling part. Most people are actors too. Except they've been cast in the role of someone weak, someone inconsistent, someone who always quits. And after playing that role for years, they forget it was ever a role. They mistake the costume for the person wearing it. But if you've been playing the wrong character, can you become someone else? The answer isn't just yes. It's happening every single day, whether you realize it or not. Because your identity is never fixed. It's constantly being rewritten. The only question is, who's holding the pen? Every prison has walls. Some are made of concrete. Others are made of words. The most dangerous prison you'll ever live in is the one built inside your own mind. Because once you believe I'm lazy, you stop questioning your behavior. You start explaining it. You don't say, I procrastinated today. You say, I'm a procrastinator. You don't say, I failed this time. You say, I'm a failure. Do you see what happened? An action became an identity. And once an identity forms, your brain begins defending it. Imagine someone hands you a shirt. Across the front it says, lazy. At first, it's just a shirt. You can take it off whenever you want. But after wearing it every day, you forget it's clothing. You begin believing it's your skin. That's exactly how identity works. No one wakes up one morning and suddenly becomes lazy. It happens one label at a time. One bad grade, one missed deadline, one careless comment. You're so lazy. You never finish anything. You'll never change. Most people hear those words once, then spend years repeating them to themselves. Eventually, they don't even remember who said them first. Here's something fascinating. Your brain doesn't care whether an identity is good or bad. It only cares whether it's consistent. Because consistency feels safe. If you believe you're not a morning person, your brain will make waking up early feel unnatural. If you believe you're bad at math, every difficult equation becomes proof. If you believe you're lazy, every moment of resistance feels like confirmation. It's like wearing glasses with red lenses. Eventually, everything looks red. Not because the world changed, because your lens never did. And this is why advice like, just work harder, almost never works, because behavior always follows identity. You can't permanently act against the story you believe about yourself. For a few days? Maybe. A few weeks? Possibly. But eventually, you'll return to the person you think you are. Not because you lack discipline, because your identity keeps pulling you back. Like a rubber band, The further you stretch it, the harder it snaps. Now here's where most self-improvement gets it backwards. People try to change their life by changing their actions. They buy planners, download productivity apps, watch motivational videos, set impossible goals. For a while, they feel unstoppable. Then reality arrives. Motivation fades. Life gets busy. One missed day becomes two. Two become 10. And suddenly, they're back where they started. Not because the system failed, because they never changed the person using it. You can paint the walls of a prison. You can decorate the cell. But until you unlock the door, you're still inside. So, if the problem isn't laziness, and it isn't motivation, what is it? It's something much deeper. Something psychologists call self-concept. The invisible blueprint your mind uses to answer one question. Who am I? And once you understand how that blueprint is built, you'll realize something extraordinary. The person you've been trying so hard to become has never been missing. They've been buried. Under years of labels, years of repetition, years of believing a story that was never yours to begin with. But if identities can be learned, they can also be rewritten. And that's where everything changes.